Most guitarists suffer from the problem that we will cover today. And if you think you don't have it, I highly recommend you to watch this video very carefully. Even though this problem is present on an acoustic guitar, it's much worse on an electric one. I'm talking about all the unwanted noise and dirt that you get while playing with overdrive and distortion. It can get especially bad when you're playing your solos. Here is how it sounds. So what is the reason for that? In short, it happens when you don't mute your strings the right way. And that's what today's lesson will be all about. I'll show you how to properly mute with your right and with your left hand. Watch this video till the end and I guarantee that your guitar playing will become much cleaner and smoother. And okay, let's start with our right hand. It's pretty simple. When you play on the higher strings, you always mute the lower strings with this part of your palm. If you don't, you will get a lot of low noise even if you don't touch bass strings. For example, you can hear it. And that is basically it. Always mute lower strings with your right hand, as I told you. And now let's talk about your left hand. Most of the unwanted noises happen because of it. First we'll talk about basic muting. We are gonna use A minor pentatonic as an example. Let's imagine that you have to play the 5th fret on the high E string. You don't fret this note with the tip of your index finger like this. You should fret it like this, so that the tip of your finger is touching the string above it and muting it. It is the B string in this case. And don't forget to mute everything else with your right hand. If you're doing it right, you can drag your pick across all the strings and only the high E string will sound. And if you play higher notes with other fingers, your index finger is still in this position muting the lower string. Now let's move to the 5th fret of the B string. It's the same, you touch the lower string with the tip of your index finger. And now you mute the high E with it as well, just by touching it. And your right hand is still muting the lower string. It's the same on the G string. You mute the D and both the higher strings with your index finger. And you should do that on the D string and the A string and of course on the low E string. As you can see, your index finger is the most important part of it all. It keeps muting the strings all the time, even when you use your ring or middle finger. By the way, if you enjoy this lesson, please consider subscribing. We will really appreciate it. And if you want to get 5 really useful lessons that are not available on YouTube, be sure to check the link down in the description. Now that we know everything about basic muting, let's see how to make bends, vibrato, hammer-ons, pull-off and slides clean as well. Let's start with slides. For example, we do a slide from fret 7 to fret 9 on the G string. Even though we do it with the ring finger, our index finger is still doing the same thing, muting both the lower and the higher strings. If I don't mute with it, I get this buzzing from the D string and some noise from the higher string as well. You can hear it. The same thing goes for hammer-ons and pull-offs. If you don't mute with your index finger, you get a lot of dirt. And if you are doing it right, it will sound nice and clean. A lot of people have trouble with the pull-offs because they move their wrist and the index finger loses its position. Like this. To avoid it, make sure to do the pull-offs only with the fingers, like this. It's like you are scratching your fretboard. So here is your right pull-off, here and here, for example. So again, don't do it like this. Or And now the hardest part, bends. You bend the note and then release it. And while releasing it, your index finger once again has to touch the lower string from the bottom. It touches it before the bend and it keeps touching it after the bend. And the same thing on the G string. And if you get the noise from the D string, like this, for example, it means that your fingers are too flat. Do it like this instead. It's the wrong way, and it is the right way. And once again, don't forget about your right hand here. As a bonus, I like to give you a nice exercise. You can play it to check yourself. So here it is. We bend this note. Then we quickly jump to the high E string and mute the B string with your index finger. If you don't do it, you get this awful sound. We have a pull-off after that. As I told you earlier, don't use your wrist here, like this. And never forget about your right hand. It's muting all the bass strings while you play this lick. Again, you mute the B string and pull off again. One more time, slowly. Alright, now you know how to get rid of the unwanted noises. It may be hard to do at first, especially if you're used to playing the wrong way. But just keep trying, keep practicing, and you will be able to do it in no time. If you want to improve your technique even further, check these two videos out. And alrighty, thank you for watching, see you later, bye bye.